Is the luxury badge always a guarantee that the price you pay will be justified? The Mercedes-Benz GLA might stand out with its elegant styling, but if you dig a little bit deeper, you will find a few cracks that make its value questionable. The cramped cargo area, high prices, and bad sound insulation are just some of the things we are about to reveal in this video, where we're wondering if the new Mercedes-Benz GLA is worth it. We've found 7 reasons why it might not be the golden ticket you're expecting. Number 7. Small cargo area. People buy SUVs for practicality. Even when it's about a subcompact segment, they expect to get some utility, enough to carry their families conveniently. Of course, this also includes the spacious cargo area, which is expected to be generous enough to cover longer trips relatively easily. But we are not sure if that's the case with the GLA. This subcompact luxury SUV isn't small. Moreover, the last time Mercedes redesigned it, it increased the rear seat legroom significantly by a full 5 inches. Unfortunately, the same thing didn't happen back in the cargo area. The GLA's cargo area is where there's a lot of room for improvement, because 15.4 cubic feet behind the second row is way too small by the segment standards. To help you understand what we are saying, just consider that the key rival, the BMW X1, has a cargo hold that's good for 25.7 cubic feet. There's a massive difference between cars like these. Luckily, things are a bit better when it comes to the overall cargo volume, which goes all the way up to 50.5 cubic feet. That's already a decent rating for the segment, but once again, the X1 is much better, with a total volume of 57.2 cubic feet. Number 6. More standard features would be nice. The GLA is a stylish SUV that's also decently equipped. It comes standard with goodies like a 10.25-inch touchscreen, wireless smartphone integration, dual-zone climate control, power liftgate, and many more. That's nice, but the thing is that rivals are mostly better equipped. Most of the key competitors come with the more standard features, whether it's about tech or convenience goodies. Also, most rivals are more generous with standard safety and drive assistance features, which is arguably one of GLA's weakest points. Because it comes with fewer safety features than rivals, at least when we talk about the base model. That variant comes with quintessential features, such as forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, driver attention monitoring, rain sensing windshield wipers, automatic high beams, parking sensors, etc. On the other hand, goodies like adaptive cruise control, head-up display, front cross traffic, surround view camera, and speed limit recognition are available as options, which is a bit of a letdown, considering that rivals come standard with many of these. Now, what the actual reason for the lack of standard safety system is, we can't say for sure. Still, it probably has something to do with the fact that the current generation isn't the freshest model around, considering that it was redesigned 6 years ago and still rides on the good old MFA2 platform. Number 5. Too much road noise. The GLA is a great small SUV in many ways, but like every entry-level model, it comes with a couple of compromises. It may look stylish from the inside and be wrapped mostly with high-quality materials, but the GLA has a couple of interior flaws. One of them is the sound insulation. Don't get us wrong, the GLA isn't without, it's actually pretty decent. Still, excessive noise does come from certain areas, particularly from under the body. Road noise is the excessive one, probably because areas around the wheels should have been isolated better. This way, the GLA is not immune to coarse road surfaces, where this kind of noise can easily turn into something quite intrusive. On the other hand, we really don't have complaints regarding wind noise, and the GLA remains quiet and calm at highway speeds. Another area that brings a little bit too much noise into the hood is the engine compartment. The 2.0-liter Turbo 4 is generally a pretty refined engine, but it may sound a little bit too loud under heavy throttle, when a good portion of excessive noise and vibrations finds its way to the cabin. Mercedes should have done this aspect of the GLA design a bit better. This way, it may not live up to the company's high standards, which is a bit of a shame, considering that most of the insulation has been executed well. Number 4. Limited off-road potential. Like many of its classmates, the GLA has almost no off-road potential. We know what you're going to say. that this is just a crossover and that it was never meant to be capable of the road, that it is primarily an urban SUV. But the problem is that the GLA's capabilities are below any standard on the market. Several subcompact SUVs are actually pretty decent off the road. This one is not. Moreover, we are not sure if it can be taken down off the road at all, considering that, in the best case scenario, you get no more than 6 inches of ground clearance. To give you a better understanding of this, let's check the mainstream segment and models like the Subaru Crosstrek, which features standard 8.7 inches of ground clearance and can go all the way up to 9.3. This makes us think if we should rather call the GLA a hatchback than an SUV or crossover. Besides surprisingly low ground clearance, the GLA doesn't shine in other aspects of off-roading either. Yes, it comes with all-wheel drive and dedicated off-road mode, but other than that, there is nothing worth mentioning. Number 3. Handling. We've just talked about the GLA's low ground clearance and lack of off-road potential. We mentioned that it would make more sense to call it a hatchback than a crossover, and that a vehicle with such low ground clearance would have to give much in terms of handling in return. Just like it looks like a hatchback, we would expect it to handle like a hatchback, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Instead, the GLA is barely average in this aspect. Its suspension setup is trimmed in the way that it offers a fine balance between comfort and athleticism, but in reality, it's mostly about the former. The level of athleticism is nowhere near the BMW X1 or Audi Q3, which both feel way more competent in corners and on curvy roads. Practically, the only way to get more driving engagement is to pick the AMG 35 model. That one takes the level of athleticism to the next level, but the problem is that the sportiness is achieved by firming up the suspension. There wasn't much done in terms of chassis geometry and other tweaks, so this more engaging variant of the GLA is simply way too firm for everyday driving. Number 2. Pricing. Many potential buyers have big problems with GLA's pricing. Namely, even though we learned from previous paragraphs, it lags behind the competition in some aspects. That doesn't stop it from featuring one of the highest starting prices in the segment. The base model with front-wheel drive costs $43,000, while the all-wheel drive model costs at least $45,000. At the same time, rivals like the BMW X1 are priced at $42,000, while the Volvo XC40 starts at $41,000. Both more modern, better equipped, and with superior driving characteristics. Besides the high entry-level price, the GLA is equally overpriced in its higher trim levels. The AMG 35 starts at over $58,000, and we think it's way too much for something that still has no more than 4 cylinders. After all, we can compare it with the BMW X1 M35, which is more powerful, handles better, and arguably looks more modern. Well, that one looks like a bargain when put next to the GLA 35, considering that the price starts at around $51,000. Number 1. Competition. Is the new Mercedes-Benz GLA worth it? It would certainly be if there is no competition, but that's not the case. The GLA is not a bad crossover. It's just that the competition gives more for the money, starting from the direct rivals, the BMW X1, which outperforms the GLA in so many ways, starting from ride quality, passenger and cargo space, more modern look, etc. The rest of the competition is also either on par or even better than the GLA. For example, the Audi Q3 offers impressive cabin design with excellent build quality and impressive tech features, while models like the Volvo XC40 stand out with a superior blend of elegance, cabin space, and a generous list of standard equipment. Other rivals can make the GLA run for its money too, so with all that taken into account, we may conclude that, although undoubtedly a good SUV, the GLA leaves a couple of things to be desired. There is still a lot of room for improvement in the key aspects of car design, which keep it from being a no-brainer in the segment. This way, it needs a couple of extra trumps to keep up with the competition. This would be our take on the Mercedes-Benz GLA. Do you agree with our reasons? Did we miss something? Would you pick the GLA or go with some of its competitors? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.